Hello. Welcome, everybody. We're here getting ready to get started with today's podcast, and we're going to wait for everybody to show up here on Facebook. We're also going to create a stream on YouTube as well. So let's go ahead and get started on both. Let's go back over to Facebook and see if people have joined us. Hey, hi, Joan. Hi, Nico. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Steven. We're going to try going live on both areas today. So
it's something new we're trying.
Yeah, we're going to try to see if they'll let us go live on both. They may not, so. Well, I'm going to skip the Facebook one. Not the Facebook one. We're on Facebook. I'm going to skip the YouTube one, and we'll upload it later. But let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Joan Atwood. Welcome. Hi, who else is there? Gus is there as well.
Cool.
Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to talk about The Mandalorian Chapter 2 and also Frozen 2. So we're going to talk about two different things. So hopefully the sound and everything is good for you guys.
Not Chapter 2, it's Episode 4.
Did I say Chapter 2?
Yes, you said Chapter 2.
Thank you for correcting me, Captain
Well,
Dexter.
you don't like correcting you. You know how that goes, you know.
Yeah, I need it every once in a while, right?
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. So enough people joined us. We're going to go ahead and get started today. But let's go ahead and get started. Hey, and let me go ahead and turn down this thing. So when I'm watching, I'm trying so I can see your guys' comments. I have the phone right here because we have the lights set up now, so it's kind of hard to see you guys. So that I could also comment back with you guys, I'm going to look at it on the phone. So let's see if anybody had. Hey, Martin. Yeah, you like the nice do-back. Hey, look, the Mandalorian. What was funny is, this is funny because Robbie over at Order 66 Toys called it. He knew that I wanted that do-back to put the Mandalorian on it because I'm expecting to see the Mandalorian later on the do-back.
Yes.
So why not? We see him now on the blurgs, so it's definitely possible that he's going to be on the do-back, that's for sure. And behind the do-back was IG-11, but he fell off. So
yeah, he got tired of riding it.
He got tired of being on the back tail all the time, and he said, "I'm getting out of this joint."
That's true. He's on the ground laughing at us right now.
Yeah, he is. He had that IG-11. Isn't he great, guys?
Yes, he is.
So we're going to talk about the Mandalorian Chapter 4, Sanctuary.
Yep.
We're going to talk about that. Before we get into spoilers, we're going to probably give a overall general review and give it the rating that we're going to give it. We're also going to do the same with Frozen 2 so that we don't spoil things for everybody. But what happened this week in sci-fi news? Anything that you recall? Let's talk about what happened this week.
I don't remember anything that I know of.
We got some new trailers for The Rise of Skywalker.
That's true, yes.
And in one of the trailers, it has a major character spoiler.
Yes, it does.
It showed Warwick Davis returning as a certain character that he did 35 years ago. It actually showed him looking at himself. Guys, I get, and I want to be respectful to everybody that don't like spoilers, because I respect you as well. But getting excited about characters that are returning, that's not spoiling the plot.
No, it's not.
I am against spoilers when it comes to giving away plots, and I think everybody should have a warning if they haven't seen it.
That's true.
But talking about characters, to me, that's not spoiling it. So if you guys didn't see it already, Warwick Davis was dressed in an Ewok costume, and he was looking at Wicket. So now you guys know.
Yes. It's too bad they won't bring back the original Mace.
I don't think Mace, I don't know if he's around during that time frame or not.
Well,
technically, I mean, there's so many different stories. Star Wars, the saga that they made up as they went along. It had no now they have a story group, which is great. But
Right.
originally, the Ewok movies were supposed to take place like 100 or 150 years after Return of the Jedi. Then somebody in the late 90s wrote a book and put Sindel Tawani in it, and suddenly it takes place between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
No, I think that the original producer, Thomas Smith, his original, and he even said it in interviews, if some of you might remember back in the day, they had the official fan club was called Bantha Tracks. I don't know if you guys remember Bantha Tracks.
I heard of them.
Yeah. So Bantha Tracks back in the day. Well, before we do that, let's go ahead and start the show. We waited long enough. I'm going to go ahead and roll the intro, and then we'll pick up the conversation where we left it. Okay, here we go. The following feature
Here we go,
presentation
guys.
is
Let's
part
get
of
started.
the All for Sci-Fi Podcast Network. Yeah! What
I'm sorry,
talking about.
Dave.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
afraid I can't do
I'm
that.
afraid I can't do that.
If you only knew the power
Only
of God.
I can't do that low of a voice, Captain
The
Rickson.
one that told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me enough. He told me you killed him. He told me you killed him.
No, I am your father.
No, you're not.
I'll be back.
Sure.
Sure, you've been back 20 times already, buddy.
Hey, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's make this
It's a
easy.
trap. The needs of the many
Outweigh.
outweigh
The needs of the few.
or the one. Do
Yes, do or do
or do
not.
not.
There is no
There is no
try.
try.
Yeah. There you go, buddy.
Yeah.
Get away from
Love
her,
Star
you
Trek 2.
bitch.
Oh!
Oh, wait, she didn't say that, did she?
She did.
Wait a
Supposed to
minute.
be PG. We got to cut that one out.
And this is
Are you
PG.
telling me you built a time machine? Out of a
Oh,
DeLorean?
my goodness.
Oh, yes.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Love this
Take it away.
movie. Don't touch it. Do not
Bye.
remake The Princess Bride.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Stop saying that!
I see dead people. I see them everywhere. They're stupid.
So what?
They don't even know they're stupid.
You said that.
Why
said that.
so serious?
Stop volunteer!
And this is
I
just
volunteer!
a little bit about life and
I
the
volunteer as tribute.
80s and 90s, right?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, yes. My favorite part.
We're home.
Force Awakens.
Yep.
Force is with me.
We're
one
about
with the
ready to
Force
get
and the Force is with
started. And as you know, I am one with the Force.
One with the Force and the Force is with me.
I am one with the Force, and the Force is always with me. I'm your host, Eric Walker, and sitting behind me is...
Captain Rickster, how we doing out there, everybody?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the All for Sci-Fi podcast. This is episode 26. Can you believe we are on episode 26, Captain Rickster?
No, I can't believe it.
And today is, of course, August 30th, Saturday.
August 30th.
Did I say August?
Yeah.
I'm months behind.
Months
It is-
behind on
it is-
that one.
It is November 30th,
Oh, that's the best life I had in
The
a while,
last-
everybody.
the last day of November. Thank you, Captain Rickster. Where is my head today? Earlier today, I said chapter
Two,
two on the
yeah.
Mandalorian, and we're on chapter 4. Now I just said August.
August, yeah.
Oh, I'm probably turning as red as the Sith there behind me.
No, I am.
Oh, you are. Well, you're laughing too hard. Okay, everybody,
Oh,
that was a good way to start the show
That
with
is
a big
definitely
laugh.
true.
Yeah. So, hi everybody on Facebook Live. Everybody joining us on the live part of this podcast. Hi Miller. Hi Craig. Hi Neil Rogers. And Neil is out in Australia.
Yep.
And Michael Ricci. He says, "What's up, guys?"
Oh, we're having fun.
Alexander's watching us. We're having fun, guys.
Yeah, yes.
Gus, Martin, Joan. Wow, guys, what a way to start the show, right?
Yeah,
Some
no kidding.
laughter. Anyway, this podcast is being recorded live. That's why there's so many mistakes.
That's definitely true.
It's being recorded live in Woodland Hills, California. And it is a cold one today. Actually, it's been cold everywhere recently. But today we have showers, and it's been getting, well, for California, it's cold.
Right. Well, down here it's cold, yes.
For you guys back east that are getting walloped, I feel really bad.
Oh, yes. So do I.
Bad for you guys. But it's been colder than usual. It's getting down to the 40s at night now?
Yeah.
Well,
40s,
that's nothing to you guys back east,
Yeah,
probably.
30s and 40s. Upper 30s, I should say.
Yeah, and here Michael on, someone's agreeing with me. He says, Martin says it's a bit cold for August today.
Yeah, it is,
yeah.
yes.
Sorry, Martin, you're right. It's a little bit too cold. But today we're going to talk about the Mandalorian Chapter 4.
Yes.
Got
4.
that one right.
Yes,
Chapter
did.
4. And you could see my face today, guys.
Oh.
And Chapter 4, Sanctuary. And we're also going to talk about Frozen 2.
Yes.
If you guys haven't seen it yet, it came out, I think it came out last weekend. It didn't come out this weekend, right? Yeah, because it had they were talking about the opening. It did very, very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's it's been quite a week. There hasn't been a lot going on in news-wise out there. But before we get started, I wanted to take the time to mention our sponsor. All for Sci-Fi is sponsored by Order 66 Toys.
Yes, they are.
Order 66 Toys is the nation's largest Star Wars only toy store. It's outside of Dallas, just a little northeast of Dallas and Fairway Station. And Order 66 Toys, we have, of course, Papa Jeff, Josh, Robbie, Gingy, Heather, Tim, the manager. We say hello to everybody there. And
Yep.
if you haven't checked out Order 66 Toys, please. They're on Facebook. Go in the search button and type Order 66 Toys. Follow them, and it's important to follow them and click the notification bell because every Friday night they have the greatest Friday night live sales, and it's a lot of fun just to do. Even if you don't have a lot to spend, it's a lot of fun. It's like we're all family. And sometimes they have really, really great deals, Captain Rickster.
Yes, they do, yes.
Last night, for example, they were doing they had a lot of 12-inch on sale. And, of course, I didn't go too crazy, but I got a bunch of 12 inches last night. They were great. What did I get last night? I think I got Boba Fett. I got Luke and a whole bunch of different ones.
Oh, so you got some of the older ones then?
I did get some vintage ones. And, they were all vintage ones, but it was great.
Good.
I was excited. I can't wait to get those in there. So, that's a good example. The 12-inch figures were only going for $15.
Ooh, that's cheap.
That's really low. And some of the other stuff that goes for $50 and $60 is going for $30,
Right.
which is great.
It was a half-off sale then.
Yeah. No, what they can't do that all the time.
No, they can't.
They're here for us in the community. So
Yes.
I want everybody that's watching our podcast or listening to it on all the many different networks like YouTube or iTunes or Spotify or any of the networks out there, take the time, go on Facebook, type in the search button, Order 66 Toys, like them. They're great. And Virginia, who is the admin of All for Sci-Fi, has just posted the link there. So it's right there on Facebook if you're watching this on Facebook right now. And also, we have sponsoring another show. We have another sponsor, and that is the Community of Star Wars Collectors, the CSWC. We've just about ready to make an announcement starting in December. We are officially working together. So we're real excited about that. I've always felt like the CSWC, the Community of Star Wars Collectors, I always feel like you guys have been family already. I love everything that goes on with that. And we're going to have some really exciting things that we're going to be doing with the Community of Star Wars Collectors. Mr. Steve Spoltor, great admin. We were talking a lot, discussing some of the things we're going to do for you guys. Because All for Sci-Fi, we're about not just Star Wars. Of course, Star Wars is a big part of it, but we're about all sci-fi out there, Star Trek, all that stuff. And we do movie reviews, and so we get stuff sent to us.
Yeah.
So what we're going to start doing is when we get the movie studio starts sending us stuff to review, or we're going to give it away. We're going to throw it in there to give away in the community. And we're also going to be adding other stuff too as well, contributing as like Order 66 Toys does. We're going to the picture of the day and all the gifts that they give away. We're going to start to. We're part of the community, and we're very thankful. We love you guys at the CSWC. If any of you watching this show do not know who the community of Star Wars collectors are, you need to know. You need to go on Facebook right now and in the search bar, type in Community of Star Wars Collectors. They are the biggest. They are the world's largest collecting group for Star Wars toys. So you need to get on there and like them and follow them as well and participate in the community and the family that we have growing there. So thank you, Mr. Steve Spolter. I'm all real excited that we're going to be working together. So let's talk about a couple things. Let's talk about The Mandalorian. And this first part of it, we're just going to talk about the show overall. We're not going to give you a spoiler right away, and then we'll warn you before we do a breakdown. But The Mandalorian, Captain.
Oh, it was definitely a good one. I love this one.
Can you believe it?
Oh, I know. I
liked it a lot because there's females directing these last 2 episodes,
right?
And the show is it's showing a softer side, which is what happens when you have a female touch to it. You have more heart, you have more storyline, and that is what I like about these last 2 episodes. And this particular episode, Sanctuary, was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh,
and
yes.
Do you know who that is?
Not right off the bat, no.
Bryce Dallas Howard is Ron Howard's daughter.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So here's a question for everybody out there in the community. Is this, and I think this was the first time it ever happened, where a father and a daughter both directed something in Star Wars.
Oh, cool.
I don't think that's ever happened.
No,
yet.
I don't think so either.
I know George Lucas has 2 daughters and a son, but they haven't directed anything in Star Wars yet. So great job, Ron Howard. I'm sure you're very proud of what your daughter did. She's a great actress as well,
yes, she
Bryce. So you did a great job. I would like to see Jet Lucas, George's son, direct an episode of The Mandalorian. What do you guys think about that?
That would be good.
I am putting a challenge out there. I want to, if for some reason Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni or anybody at Lucasfilm happens to stumble upon this podcast, my challenge is to have Jet Lucas, George's son, direct next year one of the episodes of The Mandalorian. So that's my challenge for all them. And by the way, I know I've been saying thank you to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau because they're created something that's wonderful, and it's brought back. It brings me back to the original Star Wars because they're bringing out a lot of the old stuff. But I also want to take the time to thank Kathleen Kennedy because she is not thanked enough. The only time anybody mentions Kathleen Kennedy is when they want to say something negative. And I think it's time to stop, guys, because Kathleen Kennedy is running a major, major company with a lot of moving parts. It's a $1 billion company with thousands of employees. And Kathleen Kennedy, you are doing a great job. Thank you for helping keep Star Wars alive, because we know you greenlit the show and you're the executive producer, and we got some great stuff coming out soon, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. She's going to be responsible for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
That's
also
right.
the Cassian Andor series that takes place before Rogue One. Everybody likes Rogue One. Everybody likes Solo. Everybody likes what they've been doing for the most part. There are some haters out there, and there's certain things I don't like about some of the new stuff that's been coming out, but not much of it. I mean, I had a few issues with The Last Jedi, and those issues I had with it came from a filmmaker's point of view, and those issues had to do with the storytelling and what they did with Luke Skywalker. Those were the only issues I had with The Last Jedi. Other than that, Rian Johnson, you did a good job. The filmmaking was great. You have a great eye for everything was good. The editing, the pacing, everything was good in The Last Jedi. My problem was it just felt lazy. The way you wrote you did not do Luke Skywalker any justice, and
That's definitely true.
and that was my only gripe. My other gripe was the way you treat fans. You're rude to people, and you shouldn't be rude to the fans. That even if some of them come off half cocked and you can't take it, they're part of the reason why we're here. They're one of the reasons why I'm talking to you guys right now.
That's true. And remember,
So-
we make your paycheck for you too.
Exactly.
The fans do.
Exactly. So you shouldn't be rude to the mouth that's feeding you. So those were my only two gripes. So and I heard a rumor talking about news, since we didn't bring it up. There's a rumor that he wants to direct an episode of The Mandalorian, and I don't think that's a good idea.
No,
to
I
have
don't think so either.
Ryan
no.
Johnson, stay away from The Mandalorian, and Jon Favreau, keep him away from The Mandalorian.
Yeah, far
It's not
away.
that he's not a great director, and he might do a good job, but he's toxic right now. So let's go to Facebook Live and see. We have people watching and see what they're saying. Chapter 4. Oh yeah, Virginia said in the chapter 4 in the opening scene kind of remind you those are raiders. You know how they're raiding the village?
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of the Marauders and the Raiders in the second Ewok movie, the ones that killed Mace Tawani and everybody. They
Right.
were really tall, and they. By the way, trivia here: all those Marauders that were 6'5" and 7 foot tall, they were all from the Sacramento Kings basketball team. There's some trivia for you.
Yes, that's true.
They weren't tall, but their voices kind of reminded me of the Marauders
Right.
from the second Ewok, and maybe that gave them an idea about raiding a village. They raided the Ewok village. So I think that they got some ideas again. And thank you for taking ideas from the Ewok movies. Take as many as you want. Hey, take me if you want me to come on board as well.
That'll be great.
Yeah. So,
I can see Mace back in action again.
well, I don't care if it's Mace. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing even a smaller role. I wouldn't mind being one of the Mandalorian, get some Mandalorian armor and being one of those guys. Wouldn't
Yeah.
mind that as well.
We'd make an Ewok though.
No, I'm too tall to be an Ewok.
Yes, you're very tall.
Yeah.
Too tall.
Okay, so that Virginia mentioned that, and yes, the beginning of the chapter 4 when they raid the village reminds me of that. Before we get into spoilers and break it down, in case you haven't seen it, let's go ahead and do a rating of The Mandalorian Chapter 4. At All for Sci-Fi, we have a 0 to 5 star rating. 0 to 3 stars. If it gets 3 stars or below, you don't have to go. And in this case, you don't have to stream it. So if we give something 3 stars, don't stream it.
No, don't.
Mandalorian Chapter 4 gets... Going to give it 4.5 stars. Or should I give it 4?
No.
What do you think it should get?
I think it should get a 4.65 myself because it is really excellent. I'm not going to agree with you on this time because
Okay.
it was much more
I
better.
like it when you don't agree with me.
I know, huh?
Yeah.
But I think it was much more better. It's not a 5 star, but it is a little more than a 4.5 because I like the storyline in it. I like the characters, what happened with the characters.
Okay.
I like it where direction it was going into because it was doing really good. And
Right.
plus, like you said, it had a little female content in it too. It showed love and and all that stuff.
Yeah, it had some, the thing I like about The Mandalorian is the writing. And
the writing-
John
the writing is great.
Favreau is doing the writing, and he puts all these elements in there. Of course, it's the directing, it's the actors as well.
Right.
But they had a lot of heart. I mean, at one moment, you could tell that widow that had
Yes.
the kid, you could tell that they kind of liked each other.
Oh, they kind of
It was
clicked.
pretty
Yes,
obvious.
Yes, they
and
did.
they had some chemistry going on. Then they wrote that in there. And that was, in fact, because we also get for the first time Cara Dune
Right.
shows up in this episode. So we see her for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
She is one badass chick.
Oh, yes, she is. Especially in that
Isn't
fight
it?
scene between those two each other. Man,
So-
did he get whipped?
He did. So The Mandalorian, we're going to go ahead and get into the full breakdown now, but we're going to give it 4, and I give it the All for Sci-Fi official rating is 4.5 stars. Captain Rickster's is
4.65.
4.65. Okay, and some people might agree with you. Some people probably won't.
Won't.
Okay.
But it's well worth watching. That is definitely a thing I would say. It's well worth watching.
Right. Okay, so the episode this is how. Okay, we're gonna get into spoilers now. So if anybody's watching on Facebook and haven't seen this, we're gonna get into a discussion and talk about plot and storyline, not characters. Well, characters too, but
Right.
here we go. So spoilers ahead. Okay, so the show starts off in this fishing village,
Right.
and you see these Creole farmers. They're farming these little. They look like little shrimp, but
Right.
they're this blue color.
Blue colored fish.
No, they're shrimp.
Oh,
though,
shrimp.
but they're
Yeah, blue shrimp. Yeah, that's right.
They
blue
were
shrimp.
cool looking, and that's
Yeah.
that's just a quick paint job in Photoshop or whatever effects thing they're using, DaVinci or something. But they're farming, and then suddenly you start hear this big boom boom rumbling,
Mhm.
and they're raided. The village is raided by these raiders. And they again, Virginia mentioned and said Dave Staggs, who's watching, he thinks so as well. It reminded me a lot of the Ewok, the opening of the second Ewok movie, The Battle for Endor. So these raiders raid the village, and the daughter doesn't get away, and she gets stuck. So the mother comes running after her, and they jump into the water and put this basket over their head
Yep.
so that they don't get shot and killed. And they're nervously waiting for them to leave, and they have an ATST,
Yes, they do.
which is awesome.
Well, you don't see it in yet.
You don't see it yet,
no.
but you know it's there,
You know
and
it's
you
there
hear
'cause-
that that's what the rumbling was going on.
Right.
So they leave, and then that was a prologue. So now the Mandalorian title comes up, and then after that, after you see the title come up, we see the Mandalorian and the kid,
Mm-hmm.
Baby Yoda. For reference, guys, I'm going to call him the kid all the time because
Right.
that's what the Mandalorian's calling it, the kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's
okay
right.
if you call it Baby Yoda, but I'm calling it the kid. So the Mandalorian and the kid are traveling, and see all these knobs and buttons? The kid is pushing buttons.
Oh yes, he's definitely pushing buttons.
He's pushing buttons, and then he says, "Stop pushing buttons." So what does a kid do when you say "Stop pushing buttons," Captain Rickster?
They do it again.
And he pushes it again. So
Then
he's got,
Then he picks him up and puts him on his lap.
yeah, he has to pick him up and put him on his lap to get him to stop playing with stuff. This kid is just I can't, my wife does not usually watch Star Wars stuff or movies. What she watches is these Korean soap operas. So she's really into soap operas. But my wife wants to watch The Mandalorian. So it's every week. I want the kid to be a part of it because she loves the kid.
Right.
So The Mandalorian's bringing my wife and I together watching TV, and we've been married almost 18 years, and we don't watch stuff together. So this is bringing us together, and that's awesome. That's a blessing.
Yes, it is.
So he puts the kid on his lap, like he mentioned, and the Mandalorian's looking around. He's trying to find an area where they could go and hide. And he stumbles across this planet called Sorgon.
Right.
I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Let me know if I'm not. Anyway, he sees that there's no starports there. There's no industrial centers. It's just kind of a back hole community that nobody knows much about. So he looks at the kid and says, "You ready to stretch your legs, womp rat?" He calls it a womp rat.
Yeah, womp rat, yeah.
So again, the writing in this show is just
Amazing.
amazing. This is the way I have spoken. He calls the kid a womp rat. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. So anyway, they land there on Sorgon, and of course he's lecturing the kid, telling him that you're going to stay here, stay put, don't touch anything. Yeah, right.
Right, yeah, right.
So then when the Razor Crest door opens, you see the kid right next to him.
Yeah.
Of course, he didn't stay put.
Nope.
So they go inside, and for the first time ever, when they go inside this restaurant, it's kind of like, it is a bar, but it's also kind of a food
Restaurant,
place.
yeah.
When they walk in, as the kid's walking around for the very first time ever, we only saw it in cartoons. Guess what happens to the kid?
He gets scared.
A loth cat.
A lot cat was
A
there,
loth cat hisses at him. It's the first time we've ever seen a loth cat not in the cartoons.
yeah. And that poor baby jumped.
That loth cat hissed at him pretty big time.
Oh, I know.
And I wanted to buy a loth cat. I thought those were so cute. Every time I go to Galaxy's Edge and they're sold out there at Disneyland, Black Spire Outpost, I want to get a loth cat, but now if it's going to hiss like that. But my wife wants a Baby Yoda.
Yes, she does.
So I could buy one of those for her. I was going to buy her a loft cap, but now she saw that. She doesn't want one. So as they're walking in and they sit down, the Mandalorian, of course, notices Cara Dune sitting there in the corner. And he orders some sort of broth or soup for the kid. And he starts asking the waitress, who that person was. Why is she there? He's very suspicious. And because he's worried, of course. And then he looks up, and then she's gone. She's like disappeared. So he runs out. He throws some more money at the lady. Says, "Watch the kid." And he runs out. And again, the Mandalorian has the best gadgets.
Yes, he
and
does.
He hits something on his gadget, which turns it on his helmet, where he could see footprints.
Yep.
That is awesome.
That is definitely awesome.
So he sees her walk. He starts following her footprints because he could see them, and then suddenly they're gone. Where the heck are they? Bam!
He gets jumped.
He gets jumped by her, and she's just kicking the butt out of him, knocking him around. Oh boy!
Yeah, he was really getting.
She was just going toe to toe with the Mandalorian, and it made me think maybe this guy's not a great fighter for a moment, but
well, maybe not hand to hand. Yes,
but he's great. Anyway.
He is great. Yes.
Anyway, so and they've, after knocking each other around, they both draw on each other at the same time. And as they're looking at each other, you hear some slurping. And guess who you see? The kids.
They moved their head over, and there was the kid.
The kid was watching their fight.
Yeah.
The baby Yoda was watching them fight and just
sipping away on it.
Loves that broth.
Yeah.
And of course, the Mando says, "Would you like some soup?"
That was good. That was cool.
So they go back and you see Cara Dune, telling her story, and she mentions mopping up after Endor.
Right. Yeah.
The battle for Endor. So she was apparently a part of all that stuff, and she tells him, "I was here first, so you got to go."
Yep.
So the Mandalorian looks over at the kid and says, I guess we got to go. So that's the code, So then next shot, we see them outside, and it's nighttime, and he's working on the Razor Crest, getting ready to leave, and then suddenly, two guys from the village pull up, and they're trying to seek help. They say, "Are you a Mandalorian?" He goes, "Yes, and we have money. We have these raiders that raided our village, and we need your help. We have money." And he goes, "What, do I look like a mercenary?"
Yeah, really, yeah.
And he's just totally not interested in it because he's going to leave. But then when they're leaving, one of them says, "Oh, we have a whole way to go back to our village out in the middle of nowhere." And wait a minute, he said the middle of nowhere, and that kind of piques the Mandalorian's interest. So he says, "Give me your credits." And he goes and he goes, next scene, you see him with Cara Dune, and he throws the money down, and he gets her to go as well.
Well, remember he asked for any lodging there.
Oh, what? I can't say every single thing in the movie, but
he
asked if there's lodging.
He asked that, so he's some place to stay.
Right. So anyway, so they end up traveling, and they fall asleep, and then the next morning they're back at the camp, and now they're decided they're going to help, and they go to investigate what happened when the village was raided, and then they discover by the big, huge imprints on the ground that they have an AT-ST.
Yeah. They
knew it. So they said, they go back to the village and they tell them, "You guys got to move." Cara Dune says, "You don't know this. These AT-STs could take out an entire a whole legion of combat troops in minutes."
Yep.
And, they say, "No, it's not just you two. We have 20 people here. You could train us." And anyway, they end up working it out where they decide to train them. And they come up with a plan, and the Mandalorian and Cara Dune's going to go back to where the raiders are at, create a disturbance so that they come back to the village. And they dig a big, huge hole because they put water in it because they want the AT-ST to step in it and fall over, and then they could, blow it up.
Yep.
So you have a series of scenes where they're training them. Of course, they don't know what they're doing. And then you find out that the Mandalorian's girlfriend, well, it's not his girlfriend, but
no.
Love interest, knows how to shoot pretty damn good.
Oh, yes.
And they end up training, and they have the series of montages, and then it's the night, and they go back and they create the disturbance. And they have another great scene, even when they're at the Raiders part where they're trying to blow up something inside there, and the Raiders keep coming in. It's like, get the heck out of that little hut before it blows up. And I kept thinking, you better get out of there, or you're going to blow up like Mace Tawani.
That's right.
Well, did Mace Tawani blow up in that Ewok hut? Who knows?
Well, who knows?
Right. So they finally get them. They get out of there. The hut blows up. They create the disturbance, and then you see the ATST come alive. So it's working. And coming back to Facebook Live, Joan Atwood said those red eyes. Wow. Yeah,
Yes,
they had
they had red eyes, yes.
ATST had very evil red eyes. Very evil. Very ugly and nasty. Anyway, so they get the ATST with the scary red eyes to come back to the village, but he stops. He doesn't take the bait. So Cara Dune she improvises, and she takes the pulsed phaser blaster.
Yep.
And she says, "Cover me," and they cover me. And she goes there in the water, and she tries to get him. She tries to be the bait to get him to go into the water. It doesn't work at first, but eventually she shoots it a couple times, so it goes after her, and then it takes the bait, goes in there, and then the Mandalorian runs up and puts a charge on the side of it and blows it up. So, and a problem.
I just wonder if that ATS was nothing but it was controlled. It was because I don't think anybody was in it. So
I thought I saw somebody in it. They didn't show somebody, but I thought I saw someone going like this in the window or whatever.
Yeah, well, maybe I have to see it again, but
yeah,
I thought maybe it was self-control.
I don't think so. I think there was somebody in there. And so they finally blow it up, and of course they're kicking butt and are shooting a lot of the Raiders, and they know they don't got that big backup thing, so the rest of them that are there get scared off and like take off. And
well, their leader died too. So.
Yeah, their leader did die too. Yeah, he got stabbed with a spear.
Mm-hmm.
So it's done, and then it goes to, you see it, some time goes by, and they're like 3 weeks later, and Cara Dune is sitting they're sitting out on the porch, and she says to him, do you ever take that helmet off? No. What happens if you do? Well, I can never put it back on. So she says, why don't you take it off and like stay here with this widow and have a nice life and raise this kid? And I was wondering this because it hadn't been said yet, but when she's talking, they're talking before he leaves, and he's going to go ahead and leave the kid there. He decides he's going to go ahead and leave the kid there because the kid is just having a great time with the other kids.
That's right.
He says, I've done my job. I kept the kid safe. He's here, and the widower, could take care, and she agrees to take care of the boy.
Yep.
She calls it a boy.
That's right.
So I hadn't heard it in any of the other episodes before.
Until now.
We have confirmation that the kid is a boy because she says, I'll take care of the boy like it's my own. So now we know it's a boy. I kind of thought it was, but no one said that. I don't think they did.
No.
Did they?
No one's ever said anything about it.
So
that was the first time we've heard the actual confirmation it was the boy.
Okay, so if anybody knows any differently, correct us, because I just at the beginning of this podcast said it was August when we're in November.
That's true.
Not perfect, guys. But so the first time we hear it's a boy. So
that's right.
And they're getting ready to go, and then suddenly you see one of those beacons. It's a bounty hunter that's there. And my heart dropped because when that bounty hunter pulled the trigger and he had the kid, in between its sights, I thought he killed.
Yeah, so did I.
My heart dropped. And then, of course, it was Cara Dune.
Dune was behind him and killed him.
Right. Because she's on it.
Oh, yeah.
I want her to be in more episodes to know more of her character. So I hope she comes on board in more episodes. Because at the end of this episode, Cara Dune asks the Mandalorian if he needs an escort. He doesn't. Now he finds out, and she says this to the Mandalorian, once the bounty hunter is killed, they're going to keep coming. Now they know where the kid is at, so he can't leave the kid there. So now he has to take the kid. Of course, everybody's rejoicing because they want to see more of the kid, right?
Oh, that's true.
So I'd love to see more of Cara Dune's character. I liked what she did so far. Oh, I can't wait to see her in more episodes, but they parted. So I don't know when she's going to come back in, but I'm sure she will. They'll find a way.
Oh, yeah.
So that's it, really. They pack up, and he has to take the kid. He can't leave the kid there with the woman to raise the boy.
Yes, the boy.
So
I just wonder if he's got a tracking device on him.
well, we know he does because the bounty hunter found him.
Then why doesn't he get rid of it?
I don't know if he can. I think it's somehow tied into his DNA.
Oh, okay.
So until that bounty hunter, until it's done, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I just hope if that's true, they can get rid of it somehow.
Yeah.
That way he can live a peaceful life, that boy.
Yeah, I don't-
The boy.
I don't know.
I don't know
Coming
either.
back to Facebook Live, let's check in with everybody. Hey, everybody, let's check in. Also, Eric, you said you were going live on YouTube, and we aren't. You're fired. I'm fired again.
As usual.
Hey,
What else is new?
Hey, Virginia, I did say, and you weren't here at the beginning of it, so you didn't hear I was trying to go live on YouTube at the same time. I said both. So if we're going to always go on Facebook, no matter what, because everybody's here to see us on Facebook.
That's true.
And I've decided that when we do the podcast, everybody's here and they join us, and we love you guys. We're going to go live on Facebook when we do the podcast. If I'll get it together, Virginia. I couldn't get it to work. I was trying to get it and it wasn't connecting. We'll try to do YouTube, but let's save YouTube for when we go to Galaxy's Edge or Disneyland or special events. Then we'll go on YouTube.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Gus says she was a shock trooper. Yeah, she was. It's correct. And he called it. He called her a shock
Yeah,
trooper.
he did.
She didn't announce it. He knew.
He knew already, yeah.
Did I say Twitter just now?
No, that's what I know of.
Oh.
But we are on Twitter.
Maybe I said something wrong again. Today I'm saying, I don't know where my mind's at, guys, so bear with me. I've been saying a lot of different things today, like
He's tired.
we're going on in August and we're in November. So hopefully I'll get my job back before this episode's over with. Anyway, that was it. That was that episode. That was Chapter 4 of The Mandalorian Sanctuary. I'm giving it 4.5 stars.
Okay.
Captain Rick's giving it.
4.65.
And we can't wait. We're going to be back next week to do Chapter
5.
Chapter 5. Let me get that one right.
Yeah.
Coming back to Facebook Live, Virginia gives it 5 stars. Someone else, Virginia gave it 5 stars. Gus gave it 5 stars as well. So some people think it's worth 5 stars. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I gave the episode 3 5 stars. I gave episode 1 5 stars. I gave episode 2 4 stars because there was just too many continuity errors that bugged me. And so it's coming back. It's getting closer to 5 stars again.
Yes, it is.
So that is it. Dave Sanchez gives it 5 stars as well. And Joan is wondering where the Raiders got the ATST. That's a good question, Joan.
Well, even they didn't know how it got there and why it was there.
They were wondering why it was there as well.
Yeah.
So maybe they will bring that up in future episodes. How I know it's dressed up because it's the same ATST that they're selling right now. They have it. I saw it at Best Buy.
Right.
Where it's camouflaged and it has different colors. So they made it their own. Maybe after the fall of the Empire, a lot of that stuff got sold or traded because the Empire fell.
That's right, yes.
So that's probably why somehow they either took it because the Empire fell or it got traded and sold. That would be my guess. Okay, so let's talk about Frozen 2.
Oh, yes. That was another good show.
Yeah, that's Frozen 2. Let's talk about that. So Frozen 2, it takes place 3 years after the first Frozen. It's set 3 years after Frozen 1.
Right.
And the story follows Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, Olaf, and Sivan, who embark on a journey beyond the kingdom of Arendelle, and in order to discover the origin of Elsa's magical powers. So, and also to save the kingdom after Elsa keeps she keeps hearing these voices. Yeah, singing voices. So, and by the way, Frozen 2 had a record. I know online some people were talking, because online everybody likes to talk bad about stuff and be negative.
Yes.
But Frozen 2 had the biggest opening of any Disney movie ever. It was like over $100 and something million for the first weekend.
Right.
So it did very well, and it's already done $464 million since it opened.
Ooh, that's a lot.
So it's almost $500 million.
Yep.
So
I'll just take 10%.
I'll take 1%. I'll take a half of 1%. So yeah, in the United States, it's already made $464 million. So I say that this is a success.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, so basically what happens in the story line is they embark on this journey, and they find out at the opening of Frozen 2, the king, their father, when they're children, they go back in time when they're younger,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes,
you see their father, the king, telling them a story about how these two kingdoms came together, and they built this dam to try for peace so that they come together and be peace. And then something happened, and they started fighting each other. And then the next thing you know, the four elements, wind, fire, earth, and air, get mad, and they basically put a wall between them and make it so it becomes this enchanted forest nobody could get into. But Elsa is getting a call to, and then they go. The voices, everything keeps getting louder. Certain things starts to happen, like the air pushes everybody out of town.
Mm-hmm.
The earth starts moving, so they have to go up on this ridge and get out of town. And so they embark on a journey to find out what's going on, and they're able to get it through the forest
Right.
with Elsa because of her magical powers. There's a lot of great music in this
Oh,
movie.
yes, there is. I like that old snowman, though.
Olaf?
Olaf, yeah. He.
You know who plays Olaf, right? Jason. Is it Jason or is it Josh Gad? His name is Gad.
Huh.
Let me see
It
here.
was kind of funny, though, because he kept bouncing off that wall. having a good time.
Let me see if I could find out who the actors are. It says here. Anyway, so they are able to break through, and when they break through, they find out that time kind of hasn't passed for them.
Hasn't changed at all.
Even though 37 years, 35 or is it 37?
I think it said 34.
34. Okay, even though 34 years have passed, yeah, it's Gad, isn't it? His last name is Gad, Josh Gad.
Oh, okay.
So even though 35 years have passed, that hasn't for them. They've been kind of frozen in time. And what they discover, why they're in this. Okay, before we do this and get into this breakdown even more, we jumped right into it, and I apologize to everybody. But let's go ahead and give it Frozen 2 its rating. At All for Sci-Fi, we mention this every time we give a rating. We have 0 to 5 stars. If it's 3 or below, you don't have to go. In this case, this is in the movie theater. So if we give Frozen 2 3 stars or less, we're telling you we don't recommend going to it in the movie theater because this is in the movie theater. Frozen 2, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars.
I'll agree with you on that one.
What?
You heard me. I
Uh-oh.
agreed with you.
A miracle happened.
It's always a miracle when I agree with you on something.
That's true.
You know how that goes. You know,
Yeah,
son.
you little
know,
whippersnapper.
yeah,
You sound like an older man.
That's right. You know how that goes, you know. Oh, Fire just got fired again,
Yeah, Virginia's going to fire you.
as usual.
Yeah. Oh, here's some more figures. During its opening weekend, the film also grossed $228 million from 37 overseas markets.
Ooh.
$228 million more dollars. Wow. United Kingdom was 17.8 million, China 53 million, Japan 18 million, Germany almost 14.9, almost 15 million. So this movie is doing very good. So I give Frozen 2 4.5 stars.
And I agree with him.
And so that's its rating. So we do recommend for Frozen 2. I think it's a good movie. It's really a good movie for kids because
Yes,
it helps teach different lessons in life that we try to you as parents try to get through to your kids. sometimes it's just easier taking them to a movie, right?
Yeah.
And let them learn some stuff.
And don't take no babies.
Oh, that's again, please, guys, do not take babies to the movie theater.
No.
They're not meant to go to a movie theater. It's bad for their eyes. Sometimes if it's too loud,
It hurts their
it
ears.
could hurt their ears. Come on, be responsible parents. It's not just because I want to be a jerk and I don't want to hear a baby crying in a movie theater. Of course, I don't want that either.
No, because interruptions.
Yeah, but do not take babies to movie theaters. Also, if you ever go to Galaxy's Edge and you do the build a lightsaber, do not take a baby in there when somebody else paid $200 to build a lightsaber. They don't want to hear a baby screaming and crying the entire time.
Right.
I don't recommend that either because you mess up the experience when you build a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So please don't do that either.
No.
Oh, Virginia, coming back to Facebook Live, Virginia says she loves your T-shirt, Captain Rickster. What shirt are you wearing?
I'm wearing the Mountain Dew kitty.
It's a kitty. Stand up. Oh, it's a Mountain Dew kitty.
Yeah, it's my mountain cat.
Yeah. Yeah, and the movie had a lot of really, really good jokes. It was funny.
Oh, definitely funny. Yes. And had a lot of great music, too.
It did. I mean, I didn't care at the end song, the end credits, that song, that guy who sang it, I didn't really care that much for his voice.
Right.
But other than that, the person who sings Elsa and Anna's voice, and also Anna's boyfriend, he did a good job. Olaf's voice kind of works perfectly for his character.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, it's great, guys. I highly recommend Frozen 2. So go out and see it. Take your kids to it. No babies.
Yes,
and
please.
have a great time. So so that's it for Frozen 2. It's 4.5 stars. Captain Rickster gives it the same.
Yep, I do.
And so next week, we're going to be back again to talk about Mandalorian Chapter 5. So
Yep.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen with that. I'm very excited about the progress of that show.
I just wish it was a little longer than 8 episodes.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
I know, huh?
And this episode was a couple minutes longer. It's the longest episode. This episode was like 42 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
So it was a few minutes longer. So that's great. So that's yeah. So keep doing what you're doing. You know what's great about The Mandalorian is they still have a bunch of characters to introduce still that we saw.
Yeah.
Like that other gentleman who's like some sort of a war hero guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in it. I forgot the guy's name, but there's just a lot of people still that have to come on board.
Oh, there's a lot of characters, plus there's also a lot of different species too that haven't been introduced yet either.
Yes, there has. There's just so many places you could go with this. The Mandalorian's really a perfect fit for a Star Wars live action series.
Right.
Because they have so much that they could tell. How many planets have we been to already? A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Like 5, 6.
I think this is the 5th or 6th one. Yeah.
They've been to a lot of planets. We've seen a lot of characters. Each episode, there's some new characters we've never seen before. Like on this episode, they had the Loth Cat.
Yep.
In that bar restaurant, they had some other alien species as well. Most of them we've seen already. And it's interesting because this is the last weekend we were at Designer Con. We didn't talk about Designer Con, guys, but that was really a great show.
Oh, was it ever?
Yeah,
Man.
Designer Con. It was a really interesting thing because Designer Con is what it's about basically, and I'll try to make this really short, is it's about taking existing stuff like Superman or Marvel characters or Star Wars characters and doing your own spin on them.
Yeah.
Like creating something new. Like somebody took Boba Fett and made him mash up with Rocky Balboa.
Mm-hmm.
That type of thing. And they're making these cool, great characters. And that's what Designer Con was about. And I'm glad I went. It was really a great show. And the main reason why I went there is some of you might know already, the very first ever Mace Tawani action figure.
Yep.
This is 3 3¼ scale. It has magnetic articulation, so it's really cool. And also inside of here, he has a blaster but he has a Chukatrox Ewok axe is in there. You remember Chukatron gave Mace his axe, and of course Mace says, "No, you're going to need your axe. You're going to need your axe," but he takes it reluctantly. So Chukatron's axe is in there, and it's a cool figure. They actually took the time to do a head sculpt.
Yep.
So the head is actually from pictures, and the person who did the head sculpt actually worked at ILM, Industrial Light and Magic. His name is Tyler Ham, and it was designed by Dollar Slice Bootlegs. Mr. John Pryor did this, and it's great. I don't know if there's any more left. I know we sold most of them. I think there was only a couple of them left. He made 17 of them, and I think there might be 1 or 2 left, but there's not very many left. So make sure you go on my Facebook page or my other channels, Instagram or Twitter. Make sure you look at all that and see if you could see the links there. See if there's any left. And a lot of people got pictures with Mace and Chukatron too. So all that stuff's going out this week. The stuff you guys ordered as well through Facebook. A lot of you guys ordered pictures, and I'm going to get that stuff out to you as well. But Designer Con was great.
Yeah, it was.
It was. When we want to do as many conventions as we can for you guys. The next convention we're going to do is Empire Con,
Right.
which is coming up here in a couple weeks.
A couple weeks, I think. Yeah.
Is it this weekend? It's before we go to Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing Empire Con. We're going to cover it anyway, regardless. I want to go there and do some coverage from there. It's going to be, I think it's this next weekend coming up. You guys check out, see when it's coming. But we'll post links for you guys as well.
Right.
To check it out. So we'll cover Empire Con. We'll be talking about the Mandalorian Chapter 5 next week. And after that, we're in Dallas. So we're going to be out in Dallas for the Rise of Skywalker premiere.
Oh, yes. That's
and it's
great.
it's not going to be just me. It's going to be Mike Quinn, who plays Neen Numb. And he also plays a couple other characters in Rise of Skywalker, which we'll see when it comes out. So he's not just playing Neen Numb. He's playing a few more characters. Mark Dotson, who did the voice of Teak in Ewoks: A Battle for Endor. Mark Dotson also was the voice of Salacious Crumb.
Right.
The Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt, huh?
It's one of those days.
Yeah, it has to be.
He's a Hutt. He's a Hutt. Anyway, he was Jabba the Hutt's pet.
Yeah.
I can't do that voice, but he can. So Mark Dotson's going to be there. Who else? Stephen Constantino, who was a Gamorrean guard.
Yeah.
In Return of the Jedi. He's going to be there. So it's going to be great.
Oh, yes.
And thank you, by the way, for on Facebook, Bob Otting. Empire Con is December 6th through the 8th. So it's coming up next weekend. So
next weekend, yeah.
We're going to be streaming live. So check it out, everybody. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for joining us on this episode 26, The Mandalorian Chapter 4 and Frozen 2. And also we talked about what's going on in the sci-fi world. Join us next week when we'll discuss Empire Con. We'll be live streaming from there. We'll do a live stream and talk about the Mandalorian Chapter 5 as well during the same weekend. Hey guys, it's been a pleasure. Remember this week to go out and do something nice for somebody. Even if it's helping an older lady carry her groceries to her car, if it's doing some good deed, mowing your neighbor's lawn who can't do it. Be nice to somebody this week. Like our parents, hopefully your parents did. My dad said, be nice to someone all the time. Be a nice guy.
That's right.
Because in the end, when you do that, you get the joy that it brings you, but you also bring someone else joy.
Yeah.
And stay safe, and remember, may the Force be with you always.
That's true.
I'm Eric Walker.
And I'm Captain Rickster.
Take care, everybody. See you next week. God bless.
That's right. Bye.